I had one dog that wanted to attack an 18-month-old baby through rank structure problems. I had a Rottweiler that wants to attack everyone out in the streets, including dogs. I had two beagles that when you take them away from the owner, they'll scream the entire house down and go nuts. And all of these had all these problems, but they all had one thing in common. And that thing in common they all had was that they all had no socialisation during the critical period of development. So as a puppy, they had zero socialisation. So that was just 10 dogs 2 weeks ago. I see this every week, and it's not getting any better, it's getting worse, and it's just over and over. Now, why do you think they don't socialise the dogs up until 4.5 months of age, or 4 months of age? Immunisation, great. I asked every single owner why they didn't take the dog out. Why did that dog stay at home and only see the inside of that fence in the bedroom and see nothing else? And every single one of them will say, because he's unvaccinated. Okay, and we've got to protect the with the vaccinations. Now, I asked every single person, who told you to do that? And guess what? Every single one, 9 out of 10 or nearly 10 out of 10, who do you think that is? Sorry? Say it again. The vet. The vet. So now we look at this. The vet is the #1 cause in Australia for most behaviour problems in dogs right around the country. Hey, what are you doing? Okay, so the vet is the #1 cause for a lot of behaviour problems with dogs, and as a result, that one bit of advice they say to keep the dog away to the unvaccinated, the people do it, and the dogs stay behind closed doors in that entire critical period, and then when they get up the first time at say 4.5 months of age, it's like, what the hell is this? What? And they're paranoid, they're a bit skittish, they're unsure, they see things for the first time, and then as a result they become aggressive or submissive towards things. As they get a little bit older, that submission turns into aggression based in fear, then the fear goes down, the defence goes up, and all of a sudden they become defensively aggressive, and now they become super aggressive towards dogs and people. Now that's one cause that happens with no socialisation. Then they become dependent on the owner. So that dependency on the owner, the dog will follow them around everywhere, try to be in their lap, constantly licking their skin, sticking the nose in their groin, follow around like a second shadow. I mean, you can't even go to the toilet without the dog trying to follow you in there. Then what happens, the dog gets a separation anxiety. And that separation anxiety means that dog stresses out completely and totally every time the owner goes away. So the dog howls the house down. The counsellor gets complaints about your barking dog and screaming dog. Then the dog does destructive chewing. Now this destructive chewing is just like, mum's gone, what do? And they start demolishing everything around the house there because they're so stressed out. So now they've got dependency, separation anxiety, then they become overprotective. So now they see the owner and they see anyone that comes up to their owner, so the dog goes and sits on the lap and looks at them like this, and now they want to bite people or protect the owner from other dogs. Then when you take the dog for a walk, and he's like a Hoover vacuum cleaner going around everywhere trying to protect mum from this dog and that dog. Mum freaks out, releases fear pheromones, and the dog thinks he's got to protect him from these dogs. All of these problems, every single one of them, is all caused by lack of socialisation. Every single one of them, okay? And dogs will get at different stages, but that whole problem and the reason for lack of socialisation is the vet told you so. Now, if the vet wanted to be honest, what he could do is say, avoid areas which might be high risk in parvo, but and then socialise it heavily to everywhere else. One of those high risk areas is a vet surgery. You don't take your unvaccinated puppy to a veterinary surgery while there's puppy preschool going on. You just keep yourself away from there. It's a high risk area, and there's a lot of vets that actually run puppy preschool from the same place where they treat parvo dogs and kennel cough dogs and so on. So that's probably the #1 reason on why so many behaviour problems in Australia. Does this relate to any of your dogs at all? Anyone got similar problems to that? And that's what causes it. So basically the bottom line is socialise the dog heavily right from the